welcome to the SportsGrad podcast, your bite-sized guide to enter the sports industry. And joining me across the desk, as per usual, is my favourite Deakin student in the history of Mother Earth. How are you, Reuben Williams?
I'm great. Of Mother Earth.
That's going above and beyond, hasn't it?
You've cracked me.
I was thinking, how can I really bolster this start? How can I really go a bit above?
Well, you found a way.
And I found
to answer your question, I'm great. Yeah, I'm fantastic, actually. It's probably been one of the biggest weeks in SportsGrad history. To kick it off, we had Kelly Ryan,
Yes.
CEO of Netball Australia, on the podcast on Tuesday. What a time to have the CEO of Netball Australia on the podcast, given everything that's going on in netball. Secondly, we turned 2 during the week. It's been 2 years since we recorded our first podcast or released our first podcast. So there'll be more about that in our next episode on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then tonight, we're in Sydney for the Sydney meetup, which is just going to be absolutely incredible over at Foresters. Get along to that if you haven't got a ticket yet.
Yep.
And then tomorrow, we're in Melbourne, where there is going to be close to 200 people in a room in Richmond, all networking in sport. So it's a mammoth week. I'm fantastic. I'm excited for it, Ryan.
There's a lot happening, a lot of energy being what's the word?
Exerted. And there'll continue to be more energy next week when we head to Brisbane for our meetup on Thursday, the 7th of July. So
there's a lot of
it's all happening.
There's a lot of tour de grad happening here.
There is.
Adelaide a couple of weeks ago, Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane. We're doing the full tour, so
that's it.
Get along if you can. It's going to be absolutely fantastic tonight, and Melbourne tomorrow is going to be absolutely super. So get along.
Might I add, the T20 World Cup coming to Australia in October this year. They have representatives attending every single meetup. They had them in the Adelaide meetup because they have got about 10 to 12 roles that they need to recruit for, like graduate roles, suits students and graduates. So if you want to get along and chat directly to those people hiring at one of the biggest tournaments in the entire world, get along to our meetups because you could literally leave the night with a job.
Yeah, that's kind of like your ticket, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just get along.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, let's get cracking because I'm looking forward to this episode. It's the final part of our networking series, which has been a bit of fun to make, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it.
I enjoyed the last one, a bit of a laugh, and this one will be great as well. So let's get cracking. I'm Ryan Walker, he's Reuben Williams, and we had 2 mates who met at Cricket Australia. Now we help people find their own dream job through this very podcast and our online community. If you want to follow us, head over to LinkedIn, or even better, if you want to connect with us and hundreds of others working in sport, jump into the SportsGrad community.
And a quick shout out to our friends in the SportsGrad community, in particular, our friend Matt Mullen over in the UK, who has just landed an absolute dream job as social media producer for Wimbledon. He's going to be covering the tennis. He's going to be at the Lawn Tennis Club covering one of the biggest events in the entire world. So we are absolutely stoked for Matt. I almost called him Mullen. Stoked for Matt, Eminem. And we can't wait to see some footage come through on the Workshare channel inside our Discord community. So if you're like Matt and if you want to land a dream job inside the sports industry, or if you are like the Wimbledon Tennis Club and you want to get the cream of the crop graduates coming through, jump into the SportsGrad community. There really is something for everybody inside there. So check it out via the link in our show notes.
Perfect, Robes. A new national survey by our beloved Deakin University, who's been a supporter of the podcast since day dot, said that while nearly all Australians, which is 97%, believe that Australia is a sporting nation, there is still low awareness of the projected industry growth and career potential in sport. Australia is set to enter the golden decade of sport, with the nation to host 10 major global sporting events over the next 10 years, which is going to generate thousands of job opportunities. If you want to be the ones first in line for those jobs in the golden decade, study with the world's best at Deakin University. Visit deakin.edu.au/sport@Deakin to find out some more info. Deakin is ranked number 1 in the world for sports science and 6th in the world for sports-related subjects. So it's an absolute no-brainer to start your journey in sport with Deakin.
Absolutely. Now, Ryan, we've got a nice little lineup of suggestions for people to take on. So everyone's going out to these meetups at the moment, But what you do after the meetups is the most important thing. This is where the magic happens. So today we're going to talk about 4 things to do after you've been to a networking event. And we want to put the emphasis on this is because if you've gone to a meetup or you're going to a meetup, you've already done the hard part. Getting yourself in the door is the hardest part.
Yeah.
Once you're there, you've chatted to people. That's great. You've made some new connections. But the follow-up is where the magic happens. This is where the opportunities come from. For example, the first networking event I went to in 2016 followed up a bloke called Wayne Oswald. Took me 25 minutes to call him because I was, shitting bricks. But I followed him up. We had coffee and I got a job at Paran Football Club because of it.
Yeah.
Similarly, followed up Joel Morrison, who was acting head of the Big Bash League at the time, and met up for coffee with him. He became someone I could talk to before my interview at Cricket Australia to give me the inside word. So the follow-up is where the magic happens.
It's kind of like the sauce on the burger or even the bread, just to
It's the bread.
to finalize it.
Yeah.
So I like that analogy.
Absolutely. So first thing to do after you've been to a networking event is add the people that you've chatted to on LinkedIn. Try and keep a recount of who you've chatted to, and the next day or in the week after that, just go through and add them. If you're worried about who you've chatted with, you can't remember the name or anything, just on the night, get your phone out, create a note on your phone, and just write their name down. If you need to go to the bathroom so you don't look weird taking notes on your phone, go do that. But make sure you don't forget who you've talked to because it is important.
Yep.
Secondly, once you've added the people on LinkedIn, you want to send them a message to say, hey, great to meet you at the Melbourne meetup, for example. Really enjoyed our chat. I'll hope to see you around soon.
Nice.
Then what is likely going to happen is if you've had a really good conversation with them and you've sent them a message and you've just said, hey, thanks for having this great chat, they're more than likely going to respond to that to say, hey, great to see you too. Now, if you want to take this even further, step 3 is once they've responded, so you haven't made a request in your first message, they've responded. Step 3 is ask, after you've got that response, ask for a 30-minute coffee, say, at the back end of next week. So you've added them on LinkedIn, you've sent them a thank you message or a great to chat message. Now you've followed up with a request for a coffee. Then once you've got that coffee, that's where you can chat more intimately. That's where you can chat about deeper things. That's where opportunities start to come from. And you can really start to realize the benefits of these networking nights.
Yep.
Finally, once you've gone through all the people who you did meet, you want to think about the people who you didn't get the chance to meet. So who was in the room that night that you would have loved the chance to talk to but didn't get the chance to bump into and have a conversation with? You want to find these people on LinkedIn and go through a similar sort of process. You want to add them on LinkedIn and you want to send them a note at the same time and just say, hey, Ryan, for example, great to see you in the crowd at the Melbourne meetup. Sorry I didn't get a chance to chat with you, but I would love the opportunity to talk about your career and where you've got to if you happen to have 30 minutes free for a coffee next week.
Yeah.
So steps 1 to 3, make the most of the people that you've met on the night. Step 4, follow up the people who you didn't get the chance to meet but would have liked to. And I mentioned Wayne at the top of this episode. That is exactly how I got the job at Paran Football Club. On the night of this networking event, I was too scared to go up and approach him, which is why the next day I was still extremely scared to call him back. But because I did that, I was able to get the job, which led to a snowball of other opportunities. So it is perfectly okay. It does happen and it does lead to good things, even if you don't meet them on the night. So there's 4 things you can do after you've been to a networking event.
Nice. I just want to go back to point number 2 around sending the message. And I think this is something that I think is really crucial in this. And, you could get away with just sending him a request. Like you could do that. It's pretty easy, just click. But I just want to emphasize how powerful the message is, because if you add the message in and say, hey, it was great to chat, and actually talk, like mention what you spoke about in the night and, why you found it so valuable, that just adds so much more to that request. So and this is just you and me, I'm sure we will respond in the same way, that if you get a request with a message and saying something of value, you are so much more likely to want to connect with that person further.
Absolutely.
So the message there is don't take the easy way. The easy way is just to connect with them, and they're just another connection, and that's fine. But if you want to actually build rapport with that person and have an impact and get them to want to speak to you further, add a message in.
That's it.
It's really crucial.
And personalise it too if you really want to connect.
Make it not just a general message. And it's just going back to that, that idea of you need to be genuine. Be genuine with everyone. Don't think of everyone as a number. If you're just adding people, they're just a follower. Be genuine and add a personal message to it. It makes a huge difference.
Absolutely.
Nice one.
Beautiful.
Brilliant. Series over. I like the series.
Yeah. We'll find another one to do, I'm sure.
Yeah. Producer Millie will get on the blower and see what other series we can do. But
that's it. Now, for those who have enjoyed this series, feel free to listen back to any of the other networking episodes. But more importantly, come along and make the most of it in person. We mentioned we're going to be in Sydney tonight, Melbourne tomorrow night. That's the 1st of July. Next week, we're in Brisbane on the 7th of July. They're going to be huge, close to 200 people in Melbourne. There's going to be heaps of people from the sports industry in the most relaxed networking setting you can imagine. Forget your suit and tie. Forget your kind of cringy sort of steely event. It's going to be super relaxed. People are going to be easy to talk to. So grab a tick in the show notes or head to our LinkedIn page where you can also register there.
Awesome. No, there were no suits in Adelaide, so that's a big tick. But yeah, let's keep this rolling. If you love the show, we'd love for you to rate it. So jump on wherever you listen to your podcast, 5 stars, subscribe on Apple or follow on Spotify. It really does mean a lot to us. Thanks for listening. See you next time.